The Women's Business Center of Richmond would like you to join us for our weekly Winning with WOW radio broadcast, hosted by yours truly, DrDanni, on ESPN Richmond 106.1 FM. Each segment features a woman boss who shares aspects of her entrepreneurial journey, designed to enlighten, uplift, and inspire. If you have business ownership aspirations, let us help. We can be reached at the WBC Richmond on our socials or thewbcrichmond.org, or you can call us at 804-525-9499.
Well, good morning, and thank you for joining the Winning with WOW radio broadcast with the Women's Business Center of Richmond. I am your host, DrDanni, and I am so very excited today to have a phenomenal guest with us. We have Betina Bullard of the BTinaB Show.
Hey.
Hey. Oh, yeah. Hey, I got to get the hey.
Yes. Hey.
And I'm real excited because she brings that energy and that excitement and enthusiasm that makes any day where right now outside it looks a little gloomy, like it might want to rain, but she brings the light, and we want to make sure that it is as bright as it can be. Thank you for joining us, Betina.
Thank you for having me, DrDanni, making everybody feel good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, I would say this. Sometimes our listeners and our viewers only have a few moments that they can spend with us. We know everybody's busy, but if they only had 5 minutes or so to take in everything that you bring to the table as it relates to the nuggets you're going to drop today, what would you want them to walk away with?
I would probably want them to walk away with, go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Life is so short, right? And if we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? So, however that looks, because how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. And so I would say, go for it. Just keep going for it until you get to where your destination lies.
So now that begs the question, though. We don't always, or maybe sometimes we do. When we're very, very young, we just went for it. Whatever we wanted, we grabbed it, and somebody kept telling us, no, you can't have that, put that down. They replaced whatever we had in our left hand and gave us a cookie in our right hand. And then you have to get back from being, saying you can't go for everything. You got to make some discriminating choices. And then at some point, it sounds like you woke up and you rekindled that youth that says, you only live once, go for it. I want you to share that story, or a story. And when the light bulb came on and you said, you know what, why not?
That's my life. That's my complete life. Everything that I have done, everything that I do, I'm in that go for it. And what I call it is a leap of faith. I literally called it a leap of faith. My mom was very instrumental into pushing me to try new things. I remember being in school and they would say, ask questions. And I would ask the questions, right? And then there were things that I wanted to do. Now, as a younger child, my father was very abrasive, I can say. And so there was a fear that I was scared to ask for what I wanted. And actually, one of the biggest things that changed my life is when I was in a romance. I was dating this young man, and I didn't know what I wanted. I hadn't thought about this in years. And because I didn't know what I wanted, I didn't get what I wanted. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
And when I didn't get what I wanted, I didn't like the way that made me feel. I didn't like that. So what I ended up doing is start finding out what it was that I wanted.
Okay.
And it took me back, and it takes me back to where I am today. You just gave me a whole aha moment again, because you got to know what you want.
more content for your variety show. So
Yes.
with Dr. Danni is always about business.
Yes.
And the Women's Business Center of Richmond is excited that we get to have our Bossing Up segment on ESPN Richmond's 106.1 every Wednesday morning at 5:30 a.m. for the 5:30 a.m. drive time. And I want you to tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and where you find yourself today. Because I know, we talked a little bit about it when we were at what was the Thrive Summit. Shout out to Thrive in High Point.
Yes.
Lynn Mitchell. And, but I'm just curious to know, when you think about your entrepreneurial journey, there was something that launched you into it. And tell us about the BTinaB Show.
Oh my gosh. I've always known that it was there. I know the leader, once I recognized the leader in me, because I grew up not being a follower, but once the leader showed up, it was on and popping from that point on. And so it was passion. There are things that I would hear entrepreneurs that were very successful saying, find your purpose and the money will come.
Wow.
Yeah. Find your purpose and the money will come. Mm-hmm. What is it that you're passionate about? Right. Now, I've been in sales. I'm in 27 years in sales. I can sell anything. Okay. I'm very good at sales. But really finding out, again, going back to the original question of the day, what is it that I wanted? What is it that I wanted to sell that didn't feel like a job, that didn't feel like it was going to be a burden, feel like it was just something that I had to do, but I wanted to do. And one of the things that I like to do is have those conversations and build connections in the community, to bring awareness, to educate, to bring joy, to show different lifestyles, to uplift others, to uplift underutilized businesses, to be able to share different lifestyles and journeys, because seeing is believing. Because once you see it, and once you see somebody that looks like you doing it, oh my God, boom, it's like light bulb comes on. I can do that too.
Mike Kingbiz here with On the Mic with Mike, the best business radio program around. I'm here with my good friend Dr. Danni of the world famous Women's Business Resource Center. We hear you guys have something exciting coming up.
The Women's Business Center of Richmond is preparing for our annual Women on Wealth Summit, taking place November 4th on the historic campus of Virginia Union University. You will not want to miss this event. Women on Wealth. That's womanliness, entrepreneurship, affiliations, leadership, tenacity, and health. For more information, check us out on our socials at the WBC Richmond.
Yeah, I'm reminded by the picture that you have in the scene that says, for there is always light. And we do know that light drives out darkness. So it sounds as though you went through a process where you were being purposeful and intentional, but it may not have been all that you were called to do. And then your show, was this the first foray into media as such, or was this the first effort you got into where you started to use your brand, your personal brand, to sell?
Well, wait, repeat that one more time. You said to sell.
So when you because you said you can sell anything, so you've done a lot of things, but as relates to your variety show, it's your brand, it's your personality, it's as I was reading a little bit about what you put out and some of the conversations, it's driven by the things that you just mentioned, lifting up the underserved, bringing light, and having people tell their stories. And my curiosity was this the first time that you use your own brand, the BTinaB brand, to launch into media?
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. It absolutely was. And it was because it was my way of actually just being an extension of those things that I aforementioned. And so realizing that in itself that I am the brand, that energy that I bring, that the content that I bring, the community that I bring, that thing, all those things I'm passionate about. You get the real me. You get to see the good, the bad, the ugly, the cute, and the different hair.
Well, listen, no, but I've seen that hair maybe 2 or 3 times. So you don't change as frequently as some people. At least I can recognize you. But I digress. I think what our listeners like to hear in this bossing up segment is they like to hear how you have been able to take your passion and turn it into a paycheck, or as you're moving in that direction. They want to understand things like, did you have mentors that encouraged you or that gave you guidance that helped to pour into you for you to get to this point? Because for some people, being an entrepreneur can be kind of daunting. And for some people who are already in business, they run into roadblocks and challenges, and they could benefit from some encouragement about pushing through. And we strive on being real. And I know that's what you are all about.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, maybe you can give us some insight into, who poured into you? Is there someone who's helping to guide you to unlock all of your creativity and to, and make sure you tell us about where your show is, what market you're in, and how that's going?
Okay. Well, for me, when I actually started doing it, I actually went to go help somebody else.
Okay.
What happened was I had heard I saw a distress signal from someone that says that I never get any support. People that I'm there for, they're not there for me. And it's somebody that I cared about and that I knew. And I was like, oh, the devil is a lie. Let me go and show them what support looked like. Okay. And that's who I am. And that's who I've always been. And people that know me and that have worked with me, they know that they can count on me and that I show up and I deliver and I'm effective. And so I went in and I was having a conversation and they were just like, you know what? You need to be a life coach. I was like, no, I won't be no life coach. What is wrong with you? What? Because, we were talking about doing things, I was, having that conversation with them. And I was like, what are you doing with your credit? You're doing all this other stuff. Well, do you have your credit together? And I was like, I'm not trying to be funny. And I was like, this was what my credit score is. And I have been working on this because, people are thinking that, okay, I'm doing some basic foundational pieces so that I can go out here and with my name, be able to sign a lease, purchase a home, purchase a car, have credit card, go on vacations, and build, a foundation of a legacy, right? And so they were just like, and we were just talking, and I gave them my ideas about what I would want to do and what I would want it to look like. And they was like, okay, boom. And then we sat down together, and next thing you know, it was like, okay, we're gonna what you gonna call it? The BTinaB Show. Well, what you gonna do with this? We're gonna do this, and then boom, here it was. And I give Brandon a shout out with Triad Live in High Point. And this was years ago, and but it was stuff that I had already been doing, right? And so I was just like, but I don't want to be Alon Yvonne Zahn. I don't want to be Oprah, but I want to have, something that has an essence of that, and just to kind of see, because I believe seeing is believing. And so I just started doing some things and, not really serious about it. But then I was just like, wait a minute, this really is a business. Yeah. This is what people do. And it's innovative. It's not what it looks like for everybody else. It's my journey. It's my truth. And so as I began to evolve and I started to do things on Facebook, and but Facebook has been where my biggest audience has been. Okay. And so I said, well, you work with what's working with you. And I probably should have done YouTube, but I really wasn't really thinking about it because at that time it was hobbyish, right? Right. And then when I started seeing that I could make money, and I was booking comedy shows and I'm booking play. That's how I got booked on a play. And they called me back, and I'm like, and they're paying me for plays, and and opportunities are opening up. And I'm doing networking and getting involved in all different types of things. And I have a platform that I can have conversations that are not necessarily always typical on television, but they can be conversations that affect my community that will help enhance someone else's life, right? Yeah. And so when my life changed at the end of October of 2021, I had to ask myself once again, what is it that you want? What do you want? The practical thing was the insurance agency, and I do have the insurance agency, Best Insurance Group. You can reach me at 336-587-7357. Boom, I do life insurance because
All
life
right.
matters. So I'm licensed in several different states. So I did that. But first what I did is I turned my dream, the BTinaB Show, into a LLC.
Okay.
And I said, you know what, let's go for it. And that has evolved into a TV show.
Okay.
And that TV show will be seen actually now on channel WLPC, channel 28.5. So building it out, I was like, because that was the end goal. The end goal, I saw the end. I didn't see how everything was going to happen and how everything was going to transpire. But what I did see is this is a variety show. It's going to be different. It's going to have elements of faith, because I can't do anything without faith for me.
All right.
Okay. So when I see people
faith is foundational.
That for me it is. And so taking those leaps, and that's what I call it when people go out and they start their own business. What they might not call it faith, but that's what it is. It's a leap of faith, right? You jumped out, you launched out, and you went after what it is that you wanted to do. Or and when you started that business, or you continued and you get frustrated and something didn't work, and then you have to maneuver, and that's what I call a pivot. I call it a pivot and a pause, because sometimes you have to pivot, right? But then you have to pause and see what's around you, because when you're playing basketball and you pivot, somebody's always trying to take the ball out your hand.
Wait. Yes, now you're singing my tune.
Come on here.
I love the analogies, because you know what? It makes the audience bigger. So all of a sudden, if you have someone who is listening to some things, but they also become a basketball enthusiast, now they have a frame of reference to take that metaphor and apply it directly to their business. So the point guard might have to pivot in order to see the open man. Go ahead, girl.
Come on here. Yeah. Now, when they're dribbling, they can see what's going on, but then there's a movement that happens, right? There's a change up. It might go into a man-on-man defense, or if in the zone defense. I know a little something, right?
Are you just doing that because I also appear on a women's speaking sports channel? No, I'm just joking.
Well, you know what?
That makes it live, and you're exactly right. I think about that in terms of, again, people who have come through this pandemic, and they were ready to launch into the deep, ready to shed the mask and go forward. Can I go? I got to slow down. I had a fast break because I was ready to break free, but now I got to pause a little bit.
No. Okay, now I'm at the free throw, and I'm all shook up because I done fell down, and I was like, did I work on my free throws? And that's what that right there, I just hit it. That free throw, it can advance you, because sometimes it'll give you some points on the board, without you having to work hard for it, right? Yes. And then but you were prepared for it. And sometimes when you're shooting that free throw, it might just hit the rim and then bounce off, right? So you still got to work on those free throws, right?
But that's what I'm getting. That's the sense that I'm getting in terms of sharing something with folks that they can use. There are times when you're going full steam ahead, but when you have that pause, you need to be working on those things that are going to serve you well, that will help propel your business to the next level, because it's so important. And that's what free throws are. As a good friend used to say, free throws wins ball games, right?
Say that.
Because the goal is to score. And if I can score without having a defender in front of me, then that's what I need to do. And so when I want to get back to the business of your show, because one of the things I learned when I was talking to you is that you wear a number of hats in making this production live. And it sounds that it's 90% of want to, right? And then the other piece, you gather as you go, you learn from other people, or you teach yourself. Talk to me about the production and what it takes to put on the BTinaB Show.
Well, it's finding the talent, right? Finding the conversations that will make the impact, right, on the community, that will help, that will enhance, to bring awareness. And that comes in different markets, because sometimes it's right in front of you. Sometimes, and then piecing that together and preparing what that conversation is going to be. and creating the flyers, right? Creating and then setting up the time and preparing ahead of time. Okay, this is what this is going to look like. That's practices. This is the link that you need to use for us to get ready to gather to have this conversation. And how do you feel about that? These are the conversations. Is there anything that we don't need to talk about that's not going to be on the table? Because I want to respect that and I want to honor the guests, right? And then this is my caveat for my show, for anybody that's on the BTinaB Show, because I love God. You don't love God? What's wrong with you? There was some things that I was not aware of within myself that was happening. And I was like, I'm off kilter. And I was like, I could not find my balance. And so I would do things like, get on Clubhouse and listen with Glenn Lundy and what's Dave's last name? Dang, I don't have my brain fart, but Dave, the man too. And Forbes, even Forbes Riley, I have to shout those people out. Talking to you, Danny. Okay, listen, this lady right here,
this is about you, Miss T.
No, but I do have to, but you got to understand something. When you connect with an energy, and when you connect with that light that illuminates what it is that you are putting forth to produce, it feeds you, right?
Okay.
I'm the pourer. I pour. So finding someone to pour back into me, to fill me up, is a rarity. And so seeing you and seeing that energy and I was like, oh, that's somebody that I need to connect with. Because
bless you.
No, this is the truth. And I honor that, and what's my hustler friend name? Your cohort.
Steph B. Shout out to Steph
B.
The Brooklyn Betty with the business breakdown.
Yes.
Yeah, she is amazing.
Girl. Hey, I mean, seeing that camaraderie between women and women of color is absolutely awesome, because I believe in my heart of hearts that God ain't broke, that we could all be millionaires. And those are the things, though, Danny. Honestly, I'm living, and life is a verb. Living is a verb.
When I think about how that translates into the energy, the putting together of a concept, to package it and to know that it has a draw on an audience. I want you to talk a little bit about the journey to identify sponsors and how you share with them, not sell them, but tell them about what they are in for, such that they want to be a part of the BTinaB Show.
First and foremost, when we're talking about sponsoring and connecting and networking, we're looking at people that want to reach, right? We want to connect. It's about that connecting, all right, and the awareness, right? We're going and educating and informing. And what we do is sometimes you have to go outside your local market to do just that. Okay. That's how I end up at WLPC, because the opportunity presented itself. And I said, that looks exactly like what I would like to do. But sometimes if you're looking at that reach and who are you trying to get in contact with? I resonate with people that are, my avatar is usually like 45 to 54-year-old women, 35 to 54-year-old women. I love my senior market.
Well, now, before we close up though, I need you to tell me about the play that you said you were in and where it's going to be showing and when it's going to be showing.
Oh my gosh. So I'm going to be in a play this weekend in Winston-Salem, North Carolina at 750 Marguerite Road, at the SECA, SECCA Auditorium. auditorium. You can go to secca.org and you can get your tickets and you can come out because I'm doing a Friday night show at 7 p.m. I'm doing a Saturday night show at 7 p.m. And then we're doing Sunday at 12 p.m. matinee. I know it's, usually it's 3, but it's going to be 12 p.m. And it's called Damaged Woman's Blues. Baby, it's going to be very informative. And it's going to talk about relationships. And that's what I do. I bring energy to your event.
Right.
I help.
And the word that I was going to use to describe it is that it would be very cathartic. You would leave lighter than you came. That's the impression I got when I looked and I read a little bit about it. So I wanted you to share that. How do people get in contact with you? If they want to follow up, you've given them the radio television show. But what are your socials? How do people contact Betina Bullard?
Okay, Bullard, Bullard. You can reach me on all social media networks at BTinaB, that the letter B, Tina, the letter B, NC, period. BTinaB NC. If you go on TikTok, social media, LinkedIn, you can go on Facebook, YouTube. Follow me on YouTube because I'm working on that YouTube following. And then looking October, the first week October, I'll be launching my show, the BTinaB Show. Yay! Hey y'all, hey. It's your girl BTinaB. Hey! I'll be launching that the first week in October. And it's show at 9:30 p.m. on Thursday nights, 9:30 p.m. So stay tuned. You'll be able to get it on demand on Roku, on Fire Stick, and again, WLPC 28.5.
Awesome. Well, thank you. This has been a dream. We get the boss lady and we get the creative. So what can I say?
You got a lot of the creative today.
Well,
Danny, I'm trying to be a guest with you and Steph B, so I can be like, hey, I'm a chest pass.
Encourage your listeners, anybody who see this show, look it up. The Honey Brunch with Steph B from the Hustler's Hide is coming on October 15th, and the Women's Business Center of Richmond will be hosting our Women on Wealth. That's womanliness, entrepreneurship, affiliation, leadership, tenacity, and health on November 4th on the campus of Virginia Union University. It has been an awesome day and an awesome show on ESPN Richmond's 106.1, the Winning with Wow radio broadcast with Betina from the BTinaB Show.
Hey.